Hey guys, I wanted to show you my setup of the cheap Amazon grid tie inverter. This is a 1000 watts, and this is the 36 volt version. There's a couple different versions out there, but basically I'll start with the solar panel, and this is a true DIY setup. Um, so these are my panels, and this is my backyard, and they're just sitting on the ground. So originally I bought two panels from this guy, and they were used panels. They're like Trina 300 watts a piece, and I put them on the roof. I put them on the roof. That isn't my house, but I put them on the roof, and they're producing pretty well, pretty good output. And so I bought some more from the guy because the guy had some more used panels, and for $100 for 300 watts, I could not resist. So I bought 6 of them. I don't have all 6 set up, but what I do have is 5. I could set up all 6, but I'm really pushing the power of that microinverter. And so this is a setup I kind of built for fun. These are old pieces of wood that I have, 2 panels of pop, and then below them they're 4-to-1 cable, and then I have another 2-to-1, and so I have all 5 hooked up, and they're running on like a 10 gauge cable coming to my house, or actually around the house to the back of the microinverter, and then to the microinverter itself, and then into my outdoor wall outlet. That little white thing is my little meter to check how well I'm doing or how much power it's pulling. So it's 120. Let me get to a better angle. So I have, is it VSync? So I bought one of their little smart connectors, and this is showing me how much power I'm producing. So right now I'm pulling 749 watts from these 5 panels. So far for today it's 120, and I've pulled in 2.52 kilowatts kilowatts total. And so if I wanted to take a look at the week, every day I'm doing roughly 4.3 to 4.5. I also put in the rate down here too at 16 cents a kilowatt, and so for the week I produced $4. For the day, maybe it doesn't show for today, but normally about 75 cents a day that I'm producing. And so this is my DIY setup. I highly doubt this is legal, but for me it's been a pretty fun project to do. We're producing some power. I've learned a bunch of stuff along the way. I could probably learn to make this more efficient, but I'm not an electrician. This is my for fun hobby. And so for me, like with dust getting on top of these panels, they reduce the efficiency, and so I try to clean it about once a week, and I do see little pops. Let me try to see if I can see it on here. Like you do see little ups and downs, and that's usually when they start to get dirty again after about a week. And then I clean it and it gets more efficient. They start to get dirty again, I clean it, gets more efficient. I just wash them, I just spray them down with water. There's just a lot of stuff that comes down on these panels. If it's too hot, it's not going to be the most efficient. And so that's why I kind of raised it from the ground a little bit. Ideally, I wanted to put in that area, but my mother-in-law and my wife, they started a garden here, and so I gotta wait until all that stuff dies, and then I'm gonna build this frame and put it in that back corner back there. And so in the morning it'll get the most sun. With them being on the back like this, it's probably not the most efficient setup, just because of this fence right here, I don't get true full sun until like 10 o'clock. And then also up there, when the sun's starting to set right around 4 or 5, I don't get full sun anymore. And so if I had it on the roof, which I did for fun, I didn't mount it or anything like that. It was producing about 1.5 kilowatt per day per panel. And so if I had these on the roof, they would probably be pulling about 7.5 kilowatts a day, but I don't. And so right now they're pulling about 4.5. But yeah, it's been a cool project so far. These panels were about $100 a piece. My cable was more expensive than I thought it would be. It was about like $50 for a 40-foot run for both of them. The grid tie inverter, that was $125. I'll share the link below. The little power gauge thing, it's about, I don't know, $10-15 or so. And so overall, my setup is, I haven't done the math in a long time, but it's less than $1 a watt. And if you get somebody to come out and install solar panels for you, they're looking about $4 or $5 a watt. And so that's 10 to 20,000 depending on your setup. But my setup here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, $800 or so. And it should pay itself back in about 2 years or so, or 1 year or 2 year. But it's a pretty good setup. If I move, this isn't my forever home, so if I move, I'm gonna take him with me. I'm really pushing my luck with this guy because it's running hot, and it's rated for 1,000. It's pulling 700. I'm sure that with all these panels, 3 times 5 is 1,500. I mean, my panels are at 1,500, and this is pulling 700. I think this machine maxed out. I don't think it can go any more than what it's doing right now. The highest I've seen it is around 8, but it does not last for very long. Maybe a couple minutes and it gets too hot. Right now it's too hot for me to touch right now. Like, I can put my hand on there, but I can't keep it on there for more than a second or two. So it's running, it's pumping, everything seems to be working so far. Overall, it's a really good setup for someone who's just starting out and playing around with the stuff. It's cheap. For me, it's been fun so far. My wife is actually enjoying it, that we're actually producing some power. And so, like, these panels don't produce enough for us to go negative. I have smart meters, and yeah, it does show that I go negative. Like this time of day where it's producing 700, we normally use our flat, or our base is about 300 watts an hour. And so right now, like, we're using it's producing about 7, we're using about 3. But this is about the only time of day where we might go negative. But throughout the day, we're still using about 10 kilowatts a day. And so at the end of the day, I think we're still paying. I haven't seen any notice from my local provider saying that I'm in trouble. I've been running these for about 4 months. Actually, I've been running the 2 panels for about 4 months. I've just added these extra 4 just maybe about a month ago. And so these haven't been running for too long, but it's kind of hot today. They're not going to be the most efficient today. Today's about 95. So that's all. Oh, and then in order for this particular inverter, you do need to get specific panels that has the right voltage. So these are the panels that I've got. The Trina Solar. These are 275, not 300. And then I think on this particular model microinverter, you can only have like 38 here, that's important, and 31 there, that's important. The panels, or not the panels, the microinverter can only handle a certain range. And so, like I said, I'm not an electrician, but these panels are within that range that that are rated for that microinverter. And so these panels that I got from a guy who's just trying to clean out his warehouse. And so I mean, these look like they might have been used, but they're still like really good condition. And so